Hey guys, welcome to another session of MBA Concept with Abhijit. Now, as you would have followed till now, this is quiz number 3, and in this, we are covering flaws and paradox. All right, so let's get into that. What do you mean by that? So, what is a flaw? If you look at it closely, flaw is nothing but something which is a mistake, right? Some error in that. As far as critical reasoning is concerned, it could be either a wrong logic being used, or it could be that a wrong conclusion is being drawn. In both the cases, it would point to a flaw in the argument. All right. Now, this is the quiz I had posted. If you have a look at it, time and again, it has been shown that students attend colleges with low faculty to student ratios get the most well rounded education. As a result, when my children are ready to attend college, I will be sure to attend a school with a very small student population. Which of the following, if true, identifies the greatest flaw in the reasoning part? Now, let's look at what is the reasoning or what is the argument being presented here. If you look at it closely, the argument is the first thing he says is a low student to teacher ratio helps you to get a more rounded education and therefore a better education, right? And the second thing it is saying is, I am admitting my child to a school with less number of students. This would ensure that I get a better ratio and therefore a better education. All right. So we have to identify the flaw in this. So where is it going wrong? Let's analyze the option. Look at A. Low faculty student ratio is the effect of a well rounded education, not its source. Now, are we really interested whether it is the effect or it's the source of it? Not really, right? So, therefore, A is an irrelevant information. It just confuses whether something is a source or effect. It has nothing to do with proper education. Let's look at option B. Intelligence should be considered the result of childhood environment, not advanced education. If you look at it, the past paragraph does not mention anything about being intelligent and all that. So it's a fairly new idea which is being introduced. So let's look at option C. A very small student population does not by itself ensure a low faculty or student ratio. Probably true, isn't it? Because low number of students does not mean that the ratio would be less. You should know how many faculties are available. Therefore, it also depends on the number of faculties which is available. So probably this is something which is there. Let's look at option D. Parental desires and preferences rarely determine, which is a contradictory statement. The parents here are actually deciding where their children are going, right? So D is definitely contradictory. And let's look at E. Students must take advantage of the low faculty student ratio by intentionally choosing small classes. Irrelevant option because the students are not themselves choosing which class or college to go to. That is not in their hands. That is being decided by the parents. So E is again an irrelevant option. So if you look at it closely, answer is option C because I assume that if I send my child to a school with a low number of students, it automatically means that the ratio which is there is actually the best. And therefore, that is the flaw, my friends, because it does not ensure it. It does not ensure that the student population is low means a low faculty to student ratio. I hope you have understood this. There is another question which I had posted and which was on paradox. So let's have a look at it. Now, what is a paradox? Again, very simply, it means when you expect something, but the opposite of it happens. And the usual question which is associated here with paradox is, which of the following options can explain the paradox? Which of them can explain it, right? So let's look at the thing which I had posted. What I had posted was this. It says two-dimensional barcodes are omnidirectional. Matlab, it can be accessed from any side. And unlike one-dimensional barcodes, they can be scanned from any direction. So if you look at advantages, probably a two-dimensional barcode makes more sense. Additionally, two-dimensional barcodes are smaller and can store data more than their one-dimensional counterparts. So again, two-dimensional barcodes make more sense because they store more data and they are omnidirectional, hence can be scanned from any direction. So that is given. Despite such advantages, two-dimensional barcodes account for a small portion of the total barcode usage. Now, let's look at the analysis. All right. So what has happened? What has happened? It is stating that two-dimensional barcodes are better than one-dimensional ones. So what is the expectation? Expectation is that they should sell more. If something is better than the other product, it automatically means that it should be selling more. What happens actually? What is the reality of the situation? What has happened? The sales of two-dimensional scanners are actually less than the one-dimensional one, which is opposite to what we expect, isn't it? So that is the paradox for us. So let's analyze the options. Many smaller stores do not use barcodes at all because of expense. Now, if you look at it, it is an irrelevant option because we are talking about only two types of barcodes, a two-dimensional one versus a one-dimensional one. And here, there is no distinction given. Neither is it talking about two-dimensional, nor is it talking about one-dimensional. So option A is irrelevant. Let's look at B. For some products, the amount of data necessary to be coded is small enough to fit on a one-dimensional barcode. If that is the case, can we rule out the two-dimensional one? No, not really, because two-dimensional anyways gives you more data to fill up, right? So it cannot be ruled out. And if you look at it closely, actually a two-dimensional code would have been better, no? Because you get to store more data at roughly the same usage, right? So B is again irrelevant. Let's look at C. Two-dimensional barcodes are on average less expensive than one-dimensional barcodes. If that is the case, it supports the conclusion that we should have been selling more of two-dimensional barcodes. It is advantage for two-dimensional barcodes. So C probably should not be your answer. And D says one-dimensional barcodes can last longer and are less prone to error than two-dimensional barcodes. If that is the case, it is more advantageous to use a one-dimensional versus a two-dimensional scanner. Now, this can explain the paradox which is there, that despite the advantages of a two-dimensional scanner, actually the one-dimensional scanner is selling more. So your correct answer is option D. I hope you understand and find this session quite easy to decipher the questions, and I hope you have learned something about flaws and paradoxes, and it helps you to actually answer further questions. This is about us. We are Preceptors. We do online coaching for CAT 21. Batches are going on. You can get in touch with any of these labels which are given. Get back to us. Thank you so much. And for the students who are there, thank you. Thank you for being here. Thank you, guys. That's all.